Hey everybody, good morning. It's Dr. Cindy Stark coming in live for my Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern talks. I have been traveling and I'm so glad to be back home and kind of back and settled into a routine. Um, and actually, today, what I wanted to finish is something that I started 2 weeks ago, and it's part incredibly passionate about and something that's kind of like up close and personal in my own life, maybe not so much other people's lives. And it's just what we can do to help this human tint, right? This skin that we live in, help you have better health, have better, um, clearer thinking, have better sleep, have more access to a feeling of community and connection, have better awareness, have better just access to everything amazing and wonderful that's in our human bodies. I think so many times in America, uh, we are kind of programmed, there's no other way to put it, but programmed to think that as you get older, things are going to get rougher and you're going to get more slow and you're going to have more aches and pains and you're going to stop sleeping well and your memory's going to start kind of not acting the best as it used to. And I'm just here to kind of debunk all that. I personally think that the second halves of our lives should be the better halves of our lives, because then and only then we have access to all this amazing history and information and experience from our whole entire life. So as you're coming in, if you can just type in hashtag live, and if you're catching me on the replay, type in hashtag replay. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and kind of what I'm here to do and what my mission in life is. So my name is Dr. Cindy Stark. I'm an internal medicine physician here in Gainesville, Georgia. I recently transitioned from full-time work over to part-time work on April 1st of this year. And God has really been leading me down a path of, hey, Jenny, it's so good to see you this morning. That's my cousin. God has been leading me down a path for at least 4 years now of helping people truly heal. I think that I've had the privilege, this is how I see it. I've had the privilege since I was, golly, I started Emory Medical School when I was 22 years old. And hey, Lynn. And I had the privilege of being at the bedsides of some of the sickest people in America, not only in the inner cities of Atlanta, in a hospital setting, taking care of all the homeless and all the incarcerated of DeKalb and Fulton counties, right, at Emory Medical School. But then as I kind of evolved into my practice, I went from urgent care to traditional medicine, and then I was a hospitalist for 16 years, and now I'm kind of into part-time work with the Department of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, really working intricately with people that have suffered brain injuries and strokes. And I just don't think that many people, it kind of started dawning on me as the older I got, um, had the privilege of sharing this intimate space of the bedside and taking care of people in their sickest hours. Michelle. And, I don't know, for about 4 years ago, I just started to decide, hey, Kim, oh my goodness, all my favorite people are here. I just can't even stand it. I have my heart. Lynn bought me this heart when I was in Chicago last week, and it is rose quartz for self love. And I have it really close right here, helping me try to deliver this message today without getting too choked up. Because, like I said, it's just something I'm really, really passionate about. And I feel like I'm trying to not get off my train of thought. So I'm going to stop looking at the comments as to who's popping on. But thank y'all for saying hashtag live. But I'm trying to tell a story here. So for 10 years in training and 20 years in private practice, I was at this sacred space of the bedside, okay? And I was thrilled to be there, and I was like healing people and getting people better from heart attacks and pneumonias and strokes and even things like strep throat and gonorrhea, right? I mean, the whole gamut of everything that a patient could come to a doctor for. And and then as I started getting deep into my 40s, I just started realizing that I'm just kind of treating and streeting people, and people in the medical field will know what I mean by that. You just treat people and then you put them right on the street, and then they just come back. and then 3 months later they come back, or 3 years later they come back, and the first indicator of a heart attack and a stroke is a prior heart attack and stroke. And I was just watching these poor people get sicker and sicker, and it, whew, there were two different instances where it just like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I no longer felt like I was actually facilitating true healing. I was just kind of putting a band-aid on these bleeding arteries when they really needed to be kind of sewn shut, if y'all get the reference. One was a patient, he was in his 40s with end stage diabetes and kidney disease, and he kept having heart attack after heart attack after heart attack. So many that we no longer could treat him because the dye we were using to treat him was trashing his kidneys worse. And so I got to be the little 36-year-old doctor that was on call that night that got to deliver the news that you got to go home to hospice and die. And I was like 36, and he was 30, just a little over 36. And this fragility of the human tint, right? This skin just kind of like, it dawned on me, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said to myself, I can keep practicing medicine and keep doing damage control and keep putting the band-aids on the arteries that are, busted wide open and bleeding. But if I don't get into the hearts and the brains and the souls of these people, they're not really getting any better. And if anything, we are telling them that they are needing what's in my hands and the other doctor's hands, and chemicals that are in our bottles, that they need us to have good health and a quality life. And he couldn't go back and undo those 3 decades of what he had been doing, right? Uncontrolled diabetes, not taking care of his kidneys. And so I had to send him home to die, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. And then the other one was just like up in the last year or two, and I'm 52 years old now, so this has like been a decade of awakening and awareness in my doctor brain here. And the other one was again, diabetic and kidney disease, but this gentleman had been getting different parts of his body amputated, and we had like kept cutting more and more and more parts of his hand off, and it was just like this the strangest thing. It looked like a dry yellow wax, and he was getting so frustrated at just the quality of his life, and I just thought to myself, what he is completely, no other way to put it, but crippled, lying in this hospital bed. Just every time he came to me, I was just ordering the cutting off and the amputation of more and more bits of his body. And I just said, I just can't affect that much of a change and so deep into the disease process. These guys, when they come to me and they're 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 years old, is too late. So it just kind of dawned on me that I need to get, if I really want to, kind of shepherd the hearts of other people in this country and do what God gifted me to do, which is to be a healer, I need to come way further out on this. This is the spectrum, right? If I can get the people over here and just kind of like orchestrate their death and orchestrate their amputations and make sure they stay alive while we amputate bits of their bodies. I would much rather get people over here so that they can avoid this, because if I don't get the people over here and we don't help people as doctors and healers realize the enormous capacity of healing and power in their brain and their mind, their body, and their soul, then they're all going to end up over here. So I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. And so that is what started my spiritual awakening. And I just started like trying to digest anything I could get my hands on to try to help people figure out, how is it that we get to be healthy? How can we not reverse things when they're way down here at the end stages, but how can we get some really, really good healing done early on, so that our mind, which is this amazing masterpiece, the first thing that God made when our mom's egg met our dad's sperm, it was the neural tube, the very first thing we made, right? How can we command that so that it works the best it can to then affect the healing of everything in our body? Because I'm here to tell you guys, if I'm not the first person to tell you, and if you haven't heard this a lot in your life, let me be the first person. But you are enough, and everything, all the infinite, amazing, healing, magical, miraculous ability of our bodies to heal ourselves, it's within you. But first, you got to believe it. If you go and succumb to this mentality of some doctor, some government, some institution is going to be taking care of you, then you've lost the battle right there. You are like, you're dead in the water. I want you to realize that you have the ability to become everything amazing. You are divinity, you are the Trinity, and it's my mission to just help affect that change and make people realize that. So with that, uh, I developed about, golly, when was it? Well, I started about 4 years ago developing it, and I just got my first dozen people through my program last year. And some of them are still finishing right now. But I developed an online health transformation program that starts with rewiring your mind. Okay, and it's everything subconscious, any kind of uh, childhood trauma, work trauma, religious trauma, societal and parental programming, any of that that's been in our body, in our minds, it's all in there. We were almost completely developed, our belief systems, by the time we were 7 years old. And so here we are. I think a lot of us women, 40, 35, 40 and on, we realize this is not how I want my life to go. And then you're kind of like fighting against this amazing, it's a wonderful thing, it's just doing its job, right? But it'll stop you dead in your tracks if where you're going doesn't align with what you've been taught is capable and possible for your own particular life, with your society and your parents and your religion and your community, and just all that. And so I started that program to rewire our subconscious mind, and it is amazing and wonderful. And if you are ready to finally live the blueprint of your life, that yes, Patty, you are first on my list. I have just flown back into town and got home at 10 o'clock last night, so please have grace with me while I'm trying to get my feet back underneath me. Girl, I love you. I can't wait to meet you. And but if you are ready to rewire that and live by the blueprint that you uniquely were created on this earth to live, then DM me ready. Just private message me. But then what I also realized is that after I got these men and women rocking with their new upgraded level 2, level 3, level 4 versions of themselves, some of them were still struggling with all this physical health, right? All this physical health stuff. I kind of think of it from the neck down. And so I've developed this little 6-week program, and it's just all about your just a physical health upgrade. And I thank you, Patty. I personally have been taking care of patients early, younger and younger and younger in life with these chronic debilitating medical conditions. And I just truly believe that in America, if we keep drinking the water, so to speak, drinking the Kool-Aid, eating the fast food, not having this awareness of how to eat and how to move about in our life, then there is a billion-dollar industry that's right there waiting to kind of pounce and prey on you, to tell you that you're not thin enough or toned enough or beautiful enough, or you have too many wrinkles in your body, or your hair isn't pretty enough. And they are going to be there waiting, to try to separate you from your money and get you to believe that their lotion or potion is the way to, you know, look beautiful. And like we were talking about 2 weeks ago when I started this talk, I was asking everyone, all the audience, to put in the chat, and I'll ask you to do the same today too. What do you spend a lot of time thinking about? What in your body do you spend, or not even your body, sometimes it can be your house too, or your car, but what do you spend a lot of time thinking about, the appearance of and the beauty of? And some people were saying their eyelashes and their hair and their fingernails, right? People spend so much time at the nail salons making sure their fingernails look a certain way, or their teeth, making sure their teeth are beautiful. Whereas what I would welcome you to put that on its head. All that stuff is external, and what I want you to be concentrating on instead is what's inside of you, things that are invisible. And I just want to help you with my knowledge of doctoring and sick patients, and then this this intense passion that kind of God put on me back in 2016 to start learning some things they didn't teach me in medical school, how to help the people live better lives by not only rewiring their mind. That was the first. Tell me I know. But also the just everything inside of our body. So one thing I wanted to share with y'all, and as typically happens with these talks, I kind of get a little emotional, and I kind of get off. I always ask God, I go out and meditate, and I stand with my feet in the ground every morning before I come on here with you guys and kind of co-create this little 30-minute magic window every Tuesday morning to, at 10 a.m. What does he need me to tell you guys? And sometimes I have yeah, that's right, nothing anymore. Okay, yeah, I've accepted what I've been blessed with. Exactly, Jenny. I am absolutely saying that this, none of this right here, the looks of any of this or the appearance of it matters a hill of beans, because what really matters is what's on the inside. And so anyway, what I was saying is sometimes what I have written down a few days ago, what I wanted to talk to you, doesn't actually come in out of my mouth when I'm actually talking, because I think God has something else that He wants me to share with you. Jenny is saying, "Hey, Melissa, yay!" Jenny's saying her hair is in better condition now, and she's surely but slowly losing weight. Everything is slowly but surely coming back into how it should be. Absolutely. Uh, but so this last week I went up to Chicago, and I went to this amazing certification process called Reiki Level One, and what we learned about in that is something I wanted to just kind of like very briefly share with you guys to empower you guys as to why I know that my train of thought is what is gonna actually help you, is that we're all energy. Okay, what you see in your body, you think it's all physical, right? But in every single cell of every single atom, right, everything in our body, it's 99% air, and probably 99.99%, and a tiny bit physical matter. And so what is important is that space on the inside, not just the physical part that you see. And in that space on the inside is the energy of what we are. And if you think about and I just think that people see kids getting born every day, of the world, and so they just think it's no big deal. But it is a miracle that each one of us is here. There are so many things that could go wrong. There's so many mutations that are lethal that happen after fertilization. So the fact that we're all here and that we've made it to the second halves of our lives, right? We're all I think on the call at least over 35 years of age, maybe 45 years of age. But we are all energy. And what you need to realize is that if you don't tend to that part of you that's energy, then you are actually not tending to your physical body, because that's mostly what we are. And there's this amazing, the most powerful electromagnetic organ in our body is our heart. It is, I think, 7 times more electromagnetically active than even our brain. And you've seen the EEGs that people do of their brains to kind of diagnose where people's seizures are. The torus field that your heart brings about, and how you can synchronize to other people. I mean, it is incredible if you actually know the actual hurts, and I can get deeper into that, but I don't really think the details are actually relevant. It's just a concept of our heart and how important it is, and then the energy that flows all through our bodies. If we can synchronize those to the planet below us and the universe above us, then we're in alignment with how our health is meant to be. And that's what I pretty much learned this weekend. And just to feel that warmth, and you can all do it with me right now. Just rub your hands together. My hands are kind of sweaty this morning, so they're not making a lot of noise. But you can rub your hands together and then just feel that energy, feel that heat kind of in between your fingers, and just see how far you can still feel that heat. For me, I'm just getting started, so that's about as far as I can see. And you can almost feel it's almost like a sticky sensation of our energy, and you can kind of play with it until it goes away, and then you can regenerate it by doing nothing but just rubbing your hands together. And every one of us has that. It is our life force, it's our chi. And if you can tend to everything that kind of helps that energy stay vibrant and highly vibrating, if you've seen the different scales of vibrational frequencies. If you haven't, I can put that over in my Facebook group, Reclaim Your Health and Life. But everything has a vibration on earth. And and if you want to be vibrating as high as you possibly can, it starts with what you eat, it starts with your thoughts, it starts with your sleep, it starts with your happiness. There's all these things that it starts with. And then you can be one with the universe. And then and only then do I feel that everything that I teach in my 12-week program about rewiring your brain, only then will it actually stick. So we have to like get everything in there. We have to rewire all of the different trauma. We have to rebuild rip out the limiting beliefs, put in supporting beliefs. We have to realize there are emotions in our brain, that little bags called gestalt, they're supposed to be in there. Those emotions are for you, not against you. They're here to tell you when you need to put up boundaries, when you need to protect yourself, when you need to love on yourself. And but you have to be able to regulate those. Most of us are living with gestalts that are completely full. And anger leads into rage, and healthy sadness will lead into depression, and healthy fear will lead into anxiety, right? But if we learn to regulate those things, then we can live the life that we're meant to live. And so I'm kind of getting off track here, but if yeah, it's all about balance. The feminine and the masculine. That's the coming together. Everything masculine and everything feminine, everything supportive and everything nurturing. It all comes together that in one body. We're all two parts of the same. And so if I can impress upon you that that, like I said, the energy of our bodies, our life-giving energy, and our heart and our vital source, if you don't tend to that energy, then it'll just kind of keep going down, 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 and down. And you wonder why you feel so bad all the time, and you wonder why your knees are hurting and your back is hurting, and you have this foggy brain every single morning when you wake up. Well, first of all, I'm just going to give you some small tips. And like I said, I go into a really deep dive with this, and it's very interactive, and it's a 6-week deep dive into pure vibrant health. But if you want to know, it's just some basic things to do. Number one is to drink water. And the reason you need to drink water, you need to like really pay attention to what kind of water you drink, because and there's so much I can tell you about water, but I'm just going to give you just highlights, really high level highlights of it. In our body, we are very everything is very curvaceous, especially in women. Things in our bodies don't go in right angles. The water needs to do the same thing. The best way that we can have water is through spring water, and it filters through the filters of the earth, and it's also kind of just imbibed and imbued and kind of like concentrated with all these wonderful minerals and electrolytes. In the city system, everything's at right angles, and they add this chlorine to kind of sanitize it, and then artificial electrolytes to kind of like beef it back up. And it's just really it's not meant to be with our water, with our bodies, okay, because it's not of us. And so if you can drink water, and then if you can upgrade the ingredients in your life, so instead of just going out and just mindlessly thinking of, I'm hungry, I just want to fill up my body with calories so that I'm not hungry anymore. If you really think about upgrading the ingredients of your life, and if you think about it, that we are energetically part of this earth, and just as much above as just as much as we are below, right? The crown all the way down to the root, we are part of this earth and part of this universe. And if you think about the things that grow in the ground, they are imbibed and imbued with the energy of the earth. And they're created by the energy of the galaxy, and we are part of all of this energy. And so the more you can eat from the earth, the better. And I'm not saying to eat a vegetarian lifestyle, and I'm not saying to eat a vegan lifestyle. I certainly don't do that. But just think about it. Just try to love on your body a little bit and give yourself some of that good energy from the earth. And what I was saying last week when my internet connection, or 2 weeks ago when my internet connection was so bad, and it kind of just like cut me off right in the middle, is that a really simple rule of thumb is to try to eat one fruit or vegetable with lunch, oh, excuse me, with breakfast, two fruits or vegetables minimally processed. So not like, you know, Mott's applesauce with blue raspberry coloring, right? Eat a freaking apple. Um, but so minimally processed, one for breakfast, two for lunch, and three for dinner. And if you can just start right there, and then just upgrade your water, just get spring water, and then eat from the earth just a little bit. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying to change everything. I'm not saying to take things out of your life. I'm saying to put things into your life. I think so many of us, again, with that beauty industry that's out there trying to make all of us think that we're fat and ugly, right, and wrinkled. They're just trying to give you these quick shakes and stuff that they sell to try to make you healthy, and I don't know. I just don't really believe in all of that. I just believe that you can, if you just have an upgraded awareness of what it is that you're putting into your body, just add some fruits and vegetables into your body. I'm not saying to take everything out, because sometimes when you take everything out, you're just trying to kind of eat for a certain, you know, body body weight, or body shape, and sometimes that's not in your best interest. You need to love on your body, and wherever it is that you are right now in your body, if you can just tell yourself, I mean, I literally do this with my stomach fat. Just tell that fat that you love it, and thank you so much for protecting me through everything that you've just taken me through for the last 10 years of my life. Cortisol goes in there and help, and unfortunately makes you hold on to your body weight and your body fat when you are going through intense periods of stress, and that's your body doing exactly what it needs to do, protecting you. So just tell your body, even the parts that you might not like the physical appearance of, tell those parts that you love it, but it's time for you to release it. That thank you for loving me the way that you've loved me. Exactly. Healthy health, pure health starts with diet and attitude. That's right. And then the other thing that I want to impress upon you is is to is to really pay attention to your sleep. And I gave a whole talk on sleep, and that's part of my little 6-week program too. And you would not believe the health benefits that you can achieve if you just mind your sleep and do things, simple things, to help you get that good quality sleep. And then movement for life. Just I think also some of us get so um hyper focused, and incorrectly, I believe, we kind of get hard on ourselves as time goes on, and you think you need to, you know look a certain way or have a certain amount of muscle tone. Or just stop calling it exercise, just call it movement, and just get up and move a little bit each day. uh, anyway, if this has resonated with you, I always say share it with your friends, because if it resonates with you, more than likely it'll resonate with your friends too. And I'll make it, public, so you can share it. And it's just my pleasure. It has been my pleasure and honor to be here for this last 30 minutes, just kind of giving you just a really high level idea of energy and water, and making sure that you eat the food that's in your body, that's made out of the energy of the earth, so that you can upgrade the energy of your body. And also just helping you realize that your thought life is so important. And if you can take care of your energy and your thought life and your sleep and your water and your food, you can be rocking around in a completely different body 6 weeks from now. We can even make huge strides in just 1 week. But y'all just DM me if you want more information on this. And I will keep coming in here every Tuesday, bringing you what's on my heart and helping you live the best life that you can. But until next Tuesday, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. It's so good to see all of my people on this live with me. And y'all take care. And if, like I said, if you're ready to upgrade your life and live your life based on the blueprint that is yours and yours alone, uniquely made by God for you, with this combination of genetic material on this time of the earth, in this phase of your life, I can get you on that path too. Because if you just keep trying to play by the rule books of everybody else in the world or in society, or what your parents say that you should do, or what your kids are saying that you should do, that is never going to lead you anywhere except for some frustration, because you're living your life based on someone else's rule book. So anyway, you guys, take care. I love you all so much, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 10.